every time that something comes out about Kingdom Come Deliverance, it just goes so much beyond anything rational and normal that I'm having a hard time, first of all, keeping up with all of this and keeping my sanity as well. Good day, ladies and gents, my name is Hiezo, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and I'm DiscussThing. And today I'm going to attempt, and emphasis on attempt, just bring about something of a closure, or at least a good update to the KCD2 controversy and the whole debacle that's been raging even before the game released. So a bit of a recap. We had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 drop just a few days ago, but before that we also learned a lot of things that a lot of people seem to think they are leading the game to be absolutely woke, DEI infested and all. People like John Delarose, Your Church, John F. Trent, Fandom Pulse, and all of those try to label this game as absolutely woke. And the reason they try to do it is because the game has one optional gay scene in it that nobody is compelled, pushed, or even made in any way through, let's say, progression of the game or special perks to complete. It was just something put in there as an option that has nothing to do with the real story, which is over 100 hours long. All of this was debunked many times. Daniel Vavra, the Warhorse Studio founder and developer of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, has even gone scorched earth against some of these people, going out in a very radical way to just argue with them and silence them, even going after some very heavy stuff. And I want to add something. I actually did defend Daniel Vavra a little bit, especially his way of handling things, because he was absolutely no soft language skills. He has absolutely no tact in terms of going at it slowly and just trying to be sensible. He immediately goes directly and scorched earth if someone continues to piss him off. And this is something I respect, because as an Eastern Europeans, we tend to do these things the same way. We don't fuck around. That doesn't mean that the guy hasn't said some very stupid things, and I don't defend his position entirely. I don't defend what he stands for, especially finding out that he's in contact with David Jaffe. And if you have been following some stuff, contacting and being in contact with David Jaffe is not a good thing to do, especially now. But things have escalated. Things have gone to a whole new level. First, it was the gay scene. Then it was suddenly discovered that apparently, according to some people, the characters in the game are underage by going 15-16 years old, and thus engaging in what is called sodomy. And apparently people have a lot of problems with that, which is absolutely understandable. And of course it is a problem, and it is something that actually when I first read, I was like, oh fuck, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not what you should put in a video game. However, there are some things that need to be said about all those things. First of all, this is the second game in the franchise with the same protagonist. And if going by what I read on Reddit from several years ago, there have been people who have guessed Henry's age even 4 years ago, around 15 or 16, and there were some debates. This is just one of the forums that I'm showing you, that apparently Hans and Henry are about 15 and 16 years of age at the time. And while the first game was having your protagonist just go around and having sex with women, in the second you have that optional gay scene that I've been talking about. However, that doesn't really make it good or even better in any case. I mean, if you're going to go from the basis that they are actual minors in the game, even though that is very debatable currently, you also have to be against the position that the protagonist has been having sex with women in the first game when he was, if nothing else, the same age or even a bit younger. So this is the same type of acts, and I don't remember, at least, anyone bringing that up when the first game has been released. And the debate have been swirling in. This is a post from Hypnotic, who is saying that Henry is 27 years old in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. The fact that this is even a conversation is so retarded and people fell for it. 7:30 for the timestamp. Hans is similar age to Henry in the game as well. He also says Gunnar Gate takes another L. This is so sad at this point. Y'all bought their fake outrage hook, line and sinker because they went for your emotions with the obvious truth of modern day views around pedophilia and how terrible it is. If you looked at Henry and Hans and saw a 15-year-old in the game, you seriously are retarded and never played the game. Even the actors are adults who they are based on. Stop listening to people who want to fuck Pokemon and project their constant desires onto others. See you tonight. Okay, so this is where he says. Yeah, we have Deliverance here, who says, what were you talking about? Hans is confirmed by the game's codex to be 15-year-old. You completely lost the plot. Now, I want to pause just for a minute. I have great respect for all of these people. I have great respect for Hypnotic, for Deliverance, and for Endymion, actually, because he, even though he does have a checkered past and he does occasionally do some more hit piece style stuff, he does tend to have a lot of information that he puts on. So on that account, I do have that respect on him. And this is Endymion. Hans Capone is canonically 15 years old, apparently, in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, according to their in-game historical records. So this is where the divide, as far as I could tell, comes from. These are historical records. However, you are in a game, fictional game, that doesn't actually specifically mention how much, what age they are. So they're keeping it vague just for the sake of this exact issue. And this conversation has been going around a lot. You have Savvy, you have God Empress of Mankind, who has been posting a lot. This is one of her tweets. Let's be real, their age was always left somewhat ambiguous. Most fans just assumed Hans and Harry were 16, 17 based on the setting and how they acted. And since they're played by, and you know most people with brain cells can separate fiction from reality, it was never an issue. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Nobody actually gave a fuck for the first game, until of course controversy needed to be manufactured. Then suddenly it was. I hope some lessons have been learned, or at the very least that the sheer loss of credibility and reputation has been a nice little wake-up call. But knowing how this cycle goes, I won't hold my breath. So what she's saying is actually something that I very, very much can relate to. You have the first game, as I mentioned, and in the first game, if all of this is true, even the first game is very problematic, and I personally haven't seen any articles that specifically call out this game. Maybe there are some, maybe there aren't any. I don't know. The thing is, it wasn't something controversial, and a proof of that is that when the pro material for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was going around, even from the beginning, nobody was mentioning that side of the story, that there was underage sex in the first game. So nobody actually gave a fuck until this came along. And then you have people like John Delarose. Actually, I used to take a look from time to time. I didn't know who he was, but he had some good takes in the past. However, currently I have zero respect to anything he writes, not only because of what Daniel Vavra posted about him and what a lot of other people before that, especially Savvy, posted about him being actually a closet furry, being very, very attracted to Pokemon and to some very disturbing images that I unfortunately took a very detailed look upon because the risks of the profession. You have him just constantly spewing garbage and just calling Daniel Vavra and the Kingdom Come Deliverance out. He has had like several days of just posting complete idiotics, and actually this is one of the things that he posted. Let me just give you an example. He was posting every time the player count would drop since Tuesday, and he would call that the game is dead, even though this was a weekday and it was during the night. A lot of people go to sleep, and he was constantly going, oh, this is going to be the highest, it's just going to dip, and every single day he was debunked. And this latest one, he said, you said the game sold over 1 million though. Where are all the players? Dragon Age, the Veilguard. So a million and had 400,000 concurrent their first week. This is sketchy as underage gay sex scenes. This is in a reply to Daniel Vavra, who's boasting about the numbers. And let me just say a thing. I have done at least 10 videos on SteamDB stats about Dragon Age Velgard when it was coming out, and 400,000? Never. And I actually did this. I'm sorry, but 400,000. This is a screenshot from my phone, and this is the all-time peak that was very, very well documented and reported. 89,418. So this is a complete and utter lie. And I'm saying this because John Delarose absolutely has a huge history of doing shit like this just to steer the pot. He doesn't care about gamers. He doesn't care about factual information. He just cares about drama. This has become apparent to me. And I want to say something else, because another person who I actually respect and I actually followed a lot of his Torch games, both of them have this one little thing that they do that I actually completely hate. Look at the formulation of this with gamers. What happens with Kingdom Come Deliverance sets a terrible precedence for gamers. Warhorse Studios. The formulation gamers, like a call to action. John Delarose has the same one. YouTube viewers. Let me go just a little bit down. Question. Let me go just a little bit down. Gamers. You know, this is the call to action that a lot of these control language groups of people that usually we can associate with the woke mob, they do, and they want to control the language. They want to instill in people's minds what the important message is. And when you have this one formulations of everything, then the subconscious starts to recognize this and to pay more attention. You can track yourself anytime that you have watched a TV show, a intro, something that has a specific narration and specific tone that always comes to the screen or through the audio system, and your subconscious immediately goes and has the attention and listens a little bit more. This is a very, very known tactic to make people listen and to bring in attention to yourself. And this is something I absolutely hate, because the woke mob used to use that, and now these people like John Delarose in your church and John F. Trent, who have outed themselves to be absolutely woke style activists that just want Jesus Christ in everything and don't want any gooning or any good stuff or any nudity, while being very sketchy themselves, is just the same thing that we are fighting against. We are fighting against control. We're fighting against someone telling us what to like and what not to like. And I'm not talking about someone disliking something. Anyone can dislike anything. You can not like this game. You cannot like this game. You can like this and just disapprove of this. But there is a fine line. There is a difference when you start going, this should not be allowed. This should be ridiculed. Go forth, my followers, and ridicule this game. Cancel this game. Cancel your purchases. Do this in the name of Christ, in the name of pure gaming. You know, this stuff, this stupid, absolutely dictatorship stuff is what irks me. And I hate it. And this is the same thing that's been happening with Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm not gonna say I defend the game. I, first of all, couldn't physically play this game because my PC is a potato PC and I cannot play it. It won't run. It will run and probably my PC will melt and I'm gonna have to scoop it and throw it in the fucking trash. But I have seen several streams already by Hill vs Babyface. I've seen Will of the Fans. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers and smaller YouTubers playing it, and I can say one thing. The game looks fine. It doesn't look anything special. It doesn't look anything phenomenal, but it looks fine. The combat is okay. It's okay. It's not my style of combat and all that, but it does have a lot of attention to several details, like just exploring, just the world building, conversations, what to do. The difficulty looks very, very high in some places. So you have a lot of things happening in this game that none of them includes any form of sex. That's something to be said. The game is not centered around sex, and that's the issue that a lot of these weirdos have, because when you have one thing, it doesn't mean that it's the other thing. And let me just explain. I have said that several times already. There is a difference between Dragon Age the Veilguard, where everything was leading you to be this trans activist with the scars, with trans dialogue options, to romance stash, to have them, her, she, they, Zoe, whatever, come out and have a pivotal moment in the story, just her, or they, or she, or he, or I don't know what to call them anymore. Fuck's sake, this is so confusing. To just come out to their mother and just have all these bars and all of these things just inserted so deep into the game that you cannot escape them. That's one thing. To have a gay scene, optional. You don't even have to have it at any point of your gaming experience. You don't even have to have that, know that it exists. And I'm sure that if it wasn't reported initially, maybe 10% of the gamers would have discovered it. 10% at max, because it takes specific dialogue options, as from what I've seen from Smash JT's clip on his second channel. It takes specific things that you have to choose as dialogue options, as actions, to go to that scene. And this is just very, very elaborate to do this. And this is the difference. This is the difference. You have this small thing that, yeah, okay, I personally wouldn't want to see that either in a game. But if I don't have to, I won't choose to have to, I will never choose to have to. Same thing with Mass Effect, the trilogy games. You can choose to be gay there. Yes, you can. You can choose to be femme-ship. You can choose to be male-ship. You can choose to have romantic relationships with a lot of different people from all genders there. And actually, one of the more preferred choices is with a blue alien who is neither male or female. So that is, by definition, that is the wokest of wokeness out there. Nobody gives a shit because it's optional, because that's not how what the game revolves around. The game revolves around you saving the fucking galaxy from fucking space squids, and that's what people need to motherfucking learn. And I'm actually getting very pissed while I'm doing this video. You need to learn to not be like the wokies. The wokies are the ones who are reeing and screeching and screaming incoherently about anything that they might remotely not like, and they will try to control every bit of every media to just get everything happening exactly how they want to, and then they will block people who don't agree with them. They will sue them. They will want to cancel everyone who doesn't agree and just live in their small little bubble that is just so sterilized and still not be happy just because they never will be happy. You need to not be like that. The extreme right gamers that I'm calling them right now, those ultra religious gamers that want to ban everything that doesn't correspond to, I don't know, something in the Bible probably that is said about these things. You need to understand that freedom of development choices is exactly what we need. And I'm not saying, I want to be clear, I'm not saying that this means that we should have everything in gaming. We should not have pedophilia, we should not have all of these things, we should not have abhorrent scenes of that nature, and we should not promote these things. This is something that we agree on. But if it's not specifically said, if it's made in fiction, just like Kingdom Come Deliverance, even though it follows historical events, you still have fictional characters, even though they're based on real characters. If they're not in the game, they don't look, they don't act, they're not specifically said to be underaged in the game, then your argument is pretty much invalid. And you should learn that we should promote freedom of development to that one point what I mentioned just before. So I personally don't have those issues. And I know that we still need to get the official response from Daniel Weber, who has been actually very quiet about this in the past few days, which is weird because he's usually this completely honest, brutally honest and brutally oblivious to a lot of things, especially to any social norms person, and just goes full in and just goes scorched earth. So I would probably wait to see what his official response and what the studio's official response is about that, because he's being asked. But as it stands now, I think that we can separate the game from the creator, because the creator is unhinged. He is extremely unhinged. And while I do admire some of the things that he has said and done and approached, he is being like a wild cannon that is going off and off in every single direction, and he does not discriminate. He feels like he's some confused person that just went into a war zone, and he's just going and throwing rocks at everyone at the moment. He just doesn't care what happens. So that's the feeling I'm having from him. But yeah, that's all I have for this video today. It was a little bit incoherent, but this whole situation, the entire situation is so weird to me, and I know it's going to get even weirder. So what I'm going to ask from you is just post your opinion down in the description below, in the comment section below, sorry, and tell me what you think about the whole thing. Do you support Kingdom Come Deliverance? Do you support Daniel Vavra? Do you not support both of them or one of them? Tell me what you think. Do you think the fears of the people like John Deveros and others are substantiated, and that this is actually a problem? Should we cancel Kingdom Come 1 for that same reason? Should we just let it be? Should we just chill? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoy this content, press the like and subscribe button and the join button if you want to support me directly in my experience on YouTube. Also, if you want to save homeless animals and animals in shelters, click the link in the description below on my Patreon, and then there we gather money for homeless animals and animals that are in shelters to help them with veterinary care, food care, home, and just make their lives a little bit easier. Thank you very much. My name is Hills. This was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.